Hello and welcome to another AFIVA analysis video with me, Paul Ulele. I'm joined by Dominic, Nicholas, and Nicholas Enslin. They are the two founders of Immobazyme, a biotechnology startup company in South Africa, which was founded in 2019. Immobazyme, of course, is based in the Western Cape region in the Stellenbosch area. It's actually an offshoot of the University of Stellenbosch. And it's a company that utilizes precision fermentation to produce high quality protein ingredients. Welcome to the show, Nicholas Enslin and Dominic Nicholas. Two Nicholases, but welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, super excited, looking forward to it.
So let's start with precision fermentation. Why precision fermentation, and what led to you stumbling across this? And if also to break down what precision fermentation is to people who don't know.
Yeah, I'll start off with fermentation, which is a old method of using microorganisms to make specific foodstuffs like beer and bread. And this has been traditionally used for thousands of years, and we've taken a new spin from this, and this is where precision fermentation comes in.
Sure. So precision fermentation is, like Nick said, using microorganisms to make high-value compounds. And how we differ and what's precise about it is we actually move genetic elements from one organism into another. So we'll take a gene from humans and we'll genetically modify yeast, and the yeast will then undergo a fermentation reaction, and it will produce and express that gene and make a protein. And in our example, we're making growth factors and enzymes. So we'll take an enzyme from a plant or a growth factor like insulin from an animal, a cow, a human, and then produce that in yeast or bacteria, mainly yeast virus.
So this company was a combination of Dominic, Nicholas, and the third person, Ethan. What made you three come together and develop this idea? I know it started in 2019, but what was the realization point that, you guys came together and said, we need to continue in this? Did you also have a background in science as well?
Yeah, we were, the three of us were all honor students, and we met while we were studying, and we then went on and did our masters in science. Dom did his masters in microbiology, and Ethan and I did our masters in biotechnology. And it was during our first year of masters that Dom came up with a really cool idea, and he got us to our local drinking hole and told us about it. And I mean, we just we bit to the idea and we wanted to take it further. And I think also part of that, I mean, it was super exciting to become entrepreneurial and start a company with two great friends. It was also like a bit scary, the prospects of getting your master's and not having a job thereafter, because in science here in South Africa, it's kind of hard to find jobs.
Yeah, and I think that's key on the point. And I think one of the visions we had when we started this is we realized there wasn't too many biotechnology companies in South Africa, and a lot of the solutions made globally weren't actually reaching South Africa and Africa in general. And the products they were making were too cost prohibitive for Africa. I mean, if you just look at how long it took for us to get vaccines in South Africa during the COVID pandemic, us as South Africans and many other Africans realized that we kind of have to do these things ourselves. We have to start making biotechnology companies and the products for that in-house. And since then, since 2019, there's been us and maybe 30 or 40 other biotechnology companies that have started since. And it's kind of an awakening in Southern Africa at the moment for biotechnology.
Yeah,
it's great to see scientific minds coming together. Biology, I didn't really excel in biology, but it's nice to see that other people have taken a stride forward in continuing those efforts. Now, I want to congratulate you as well. You recently received a third round funding from, with the University Technology Fund and the University of Stellenbosch Enterprises. So congratulations to that, because I know it helps you, for funding and also to increase the people that could help you continue in some of your works. Now, you were also featured in Paris at the Viva, the Viva back in June of 2022. So how was that, experience going to Paris pretty much to expose your works in South Africa to the world?
That's such an awesome question. I mean, personally, for me, it was the first time that I had gone overseas, first time in Europe. I mean, Paris as a city, it's where you fall in love. So that was incredible, the experience culturally. And then from a business sense, I mean, it's the biggest startup tech event in the world. So there was literally hundreds and thousands of different startups, and I mean, we just got to rub shoulders with everyone and share experiences, and yeah, it was exceptional.
Yeah, and what I want to reiterate there is we got into it through the French Embassy of South Africa. So France runs really great programs for startups in South Africa, and they reached out to us and a bunch of other startups, and they actually paid to fly us there, house us there, and pay for our tickets to the event. So, like, big shout out to the French Embassy of South Africa.
Yeah.
They do really, really great work in South Africa for the startup scene, and any help we can get in South Africa is great. So they were wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's talk now about products, because offline we were talking about some of the products and some of the works that you've developed. Now I know you have the Dextrap, which is a gum, the polysaccharide gum. Tell me what's different between this and a regular, I don't know, extra or orbit gum. How does this differ?
So the first product we started working on is Dextrap. It's a enzyme called dextrinase that breaks down gums in the sugar industry, and this was found out that through research in South Africa that these gums are they're accumulating in deteriorating sugar, and it's kind of slows down the pipeline, the production pipeline. It damages the equipment and it ruins your final sugar product. So we developed an enzyme. We genetically modified it. We put it into yeast, produced it, and it breaks down these contaminants in the sugar industry. And it's been really successful. And we're working with both the research institutes of the sugar industry in South Africa, as well as the research institutes for process engineering at Stellenbosch University. And that's a joint project, and that's going very well. We are now also working on growth factors, and this is our primary goal at the moment. So we're working with the cell cultivated meat industry, which are the guys that are making lab grown meat. So they're doing really well. But one of the challenges they face is that the price of the media, so the growth media that helps the cells differentiate and turn to muscle and fat, is very, very expensive. And that's due to mainly the growth factors, so the hormones that convince the cells to divide and differentiate. They're really expensive. I mean, they range from about $190,000 to $3.7 million US per gram, and that's ridiculously expensive. So they're using that to make basically burgers, and you don't want your burgers costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we are now producing these growth factors that are mammalian. They're from humans and beef in the yeast, purifying them, and we're selling them at a fraction of the cost. So our goal is to bring down the cost of cultivated meat tens to hundreds of fold. And so far, we're actually doing really well. We had a really great result today. So yeah, we're very happy at the moment.
If I may just add one thing there, it sounds like lots of different products and we're all over the show, but it's a modular system. So this precision fermentation, all you change is the gene. So a new gene is a new protein and therefore a new product. And we're trying to serve industries that we can serve our scale right now, but also make a lot of money from them.
Now, you talked about growth factors, and that was another thing that I wanted to touch on as well, because I seen growth factors on the website, and it had something to do with cell cultured meat. What does can you explain to us the process of these like growth factors? What process does it take, and the benefits that it would have to Immobazyme?
Yeah, so these growth factors, when they're used in the cell cultured meat industry, it basically tells the mammalian cell, the beef cell, to divide and replicate. And some of these growth factors tell the cells to make fatty acids. And so your meat essentially becomes what we know as a traditional beef burger. So what's the saying? It's the meat without the moo. These growth factors basically make a burger in a bioreactor in the lab, and yeah, they're super expensive. For example, some of the competitive prices for 1 gram of one of the growth factors is $3.7 million. So it's insane how expensive these are.
And you end up eating it. So
Yeah.
these are very expensive things that you want to reduce the cost as much as possible so that your final food product can be cheap. So yeah, so our goal is to make ingredients that make cultured meat cheaper and more accessible to everyone.
That's very interesting. Now, with the work that you're doing in South Africa and all across really South Africa, is there any plans to expand to other African countries, or is that already in the works?
So we would love to, and our goal is to expand globally, mainly to Europe and America, Southeast Asia, China. Those would be the goals for the moment. Unfortunately, cultivated meat isn't really a product that's booming throughout the rest of Africa. It's hardly even big in South Africa. There's only, I think, 3 companies in South Africa making cultivated meat. So it's still in its nascency here, whereas globally it's really exploding. So our first target will be other non-African countries, but as soon as Africa catches up, we will then expand there too.
Yeah, we always have our 2 feet on this continent. So I think our other products, maybe not related to the cultivated meat industry, but other products will certainly, Africa will benefit from them. So.
And the final question, what is the overall trajectory, since we also talk about expansion, what is the overall trajectory for this company, Immobazyme? Where do you see it in the next 5 to 10 years? Of course, I believe expanding into other countries would be one of it, but what are the others?
I think all of the founders and all of the employees of Immobazyme each have a dream of what they want to do in biotechnology. And I think we've been gifted this opportunity to have a really great company that can explore these ideas. And I think each one of us have a different dream. I think I would love to get into making low-cost pharmaceuticals for Africa specifically. And I think Nick has some dreams himself.
Yeah, I would love to get involved in carbon capture using enzymes to sequester CO2 out of the atmosphere and make cement. And I think Ethan's fascinated with ethnopharmacology and sort of looking at chemicals in plants, but can we make them using just proteins in a cell-free catalysis system? So yeah,
I think the future of the company is let's unlock the dreams of the people that work at it and try to make the products of biotechnology as accessible as possible.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Precision fermentation, cultivated meat, they do it all. Dextrap, all the fascinating products out of Immobazyme. The 2 founders, Don Nicholas and Nicholas Enslin, and there's another co-founder as well, Ethan Hunter. He couldn't make it here with us, but these are the faces of Immobazyme, and you could visit their website, immobazyme.com. They're also on LinkedIn, Facebook, and you could see some interesting stuff. Thank you so much for taking some time out. I know it's probably late over there in South Africa. Thank you for breaking down some of these fascinating activities and fascinating stuff that your company does. And we look forward to the success of your company in the future years.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Really great. Thank you for the great questions too.
that was awesome.
No problem. And my name is Paul Olele, the host, and we'll see you on the next Fever Analysis video.